Merry meet, Annie here. In the season of water, we now explore the concept of gleaning. Basically, what's left to harvest. Gleaning is a biblical and historical practice. I'm not a biblical scholar, but I do believe, because I read a lot about gleaning, and it's a spiritual practice of my own, that it is especially referenced in the book of Ruth in the Bible. It's when you move behind after the official harvest to pick up whatever remains in the fields. So it can be that biblical reference. It can be a reference in the heart and in our sense of the wheel of the year as paying attention to what's left behind. Gleaning is also a powerful communal practice, and a lot of the movements we have, humanist movements and environmentalist movements nowadays. Think about when restaurants donate their leftover food to a shelter, for instance. When we donate ourselves to food banks, leftover food we have in our kitchens. Those are gleanings. Important leftovers then made as an offering. Gleaning is what's left behind in the harvests we have made ourselves during Lammas and Mabon. Gleanings are, it's not too late to notice what we left behind, that our harvest in a way is not yet complete. We're not done in a way, even if we think we're done. It's not as cut and dry as that. In fact, usually the gleanings left behind spiritually are the things that were, well, we might have noticed we were leaving them behind, but they were a little bit challenging to deal with. So we just moved on from them rather than gathering up along with everything else. When we explore gleaning at the spiritual level in this season of water, and as this season of Mabon comes close to an end, is we don't want to waste the overlooked experiences in our lives. Indeed, the unharvested parts of ourselves, whether by accident we haven't noticed or given credit, or whether we have, and God has blessed us, we do this. We leave behind the things that are awkward, challenging, or upsetting to deal with. But it can make the discarded, what we glean, valuable. We can make something of it. Often those things we left behind are indeed the things which can transform us more than anything else, the intentional harvests in our life. So my question for you when it comes to gleaning, the spiritual practice of gleaning, is what have you discarded? If you have been following Lammas and Mabon and made your first and second harvests, made decisions at Lammas and actions at Mabon, figuratively look around you and see what you might have left behind. What will you take back up and consider? Whether it's something that you embrace or intentionally then make an offering, that's Samhain coming up. Don't be afraid to glean. There's a lot of messages left in that. And when it comes to gleaning as a spiritual practice and this time of the year, what will you offer from the abundance of your harvest? It might be a certain kind of devotion to your spiritual practice or to others. It could be volunteering at a food bank or a community kitchen. What will you make of as an offering? Because you've done the work of your harvests and you've noticed, oh, I have even more yet to harvest. Oh, that might just create an abundance in yourself. The gleaning historically was for the poor and those who were struggling to exist, to be able to pick up from the land what was left behind, to exist, subsistence living in a way. But we can intentionally glean to add to our abundance, to feed our soul just a little bit more, and then to make some kind of a literal offering of it. Two sides to the coin of gleaning. And what did you leave behind by accident or by choice? And, well, do you have the courage? It is the season of water. That's all about courage. To pick up those pieces of yourself and include them with that wider package of things you acknowledged at Lammas and Mabon? And also, will you end up in the end with enough to make a decision about what kind of offering you're going to make to the greater good in relationship to your gleanings? I wish you all mirth and reverence in the season of Mabon.